3 years ago, I made a video called Offensive Guitar Sounds, and that soared to become my most popular video. It's pushing 2 million views at the moment. And I never really went into depth with what I was doing in that video. It was a showcase of some of the really weird, bizarre sounds that you can make on a guitar, mostly inspired by Eddie Van Halen and a select few from my other influences that I've picked up over the years. So today I'm going to teach a selection from that video for your enjoyment. To follow along with this video, you need to be using a guitar with some kind of double locking trem system. And one or two tricks involve a guitar which is standard, if you like, a standard nut. I'm going to jump straight in with the Van Halen effects. The first one would be the horse effect. And the idea here is you'd be on the G string, ideally. You're going to go to the 2nd fret. You're going to bend it up a whole step. Not difficult to do. And then what you're going to do in conjunction with that is get a pinch harmonic. And if you're not really familiar with this technique, the whole idea is that you get the word pinch out of your head. I don't know who said that first time around. It's completely and utterly false in my opinion. All you're doing is allowing your thumb to catch it on the way past. It's like you're manufacturing a mistake. That's the idea, that's what you're aiming for. And where to find those really squeaky, horsey harmonics is you're looking for where a middle pickup would be, or maybe just south of there. And they all vary. So the main thing is get that effect. And then with the bar, you're pushing down, but you're going down a bit, up a bit, down a bit, up a bit, down a bit, up a bit, if I was to describe it like that. And keep pushing down further until you get to the bottom. That's how you get the neigh effect. Another thing Eddie Van Halen would do often before this is he would combine dive bombs with natural harmonics. So what you might do is take the G string here, pull it quite hard so you get the string to ring out, so you've got that. Can you hear that on the microphone there? That is that little ringing sound of the strings touching the frets. That's what gives you that proper effect that you would get in a normal dive bomb. Then what you're going to do is get down to the bottom. Without picking, sort of hover your finger over the 5th fret and come back up on that harmonic. And take a couple of goes. Horse. Really cool. Well on your way to sounding like Eddie Van Halen right there. This is how Eddie Van Halen begins the song On Fire. Loads of people asked me how to do that when I did my video for IK Multimedia. And this took me forever to figure out. I used to do it a different way and I've forgotten how I used to do it now. But the idea is you're hovering your finger over the 6th fret, the fret wire here. With a little bit of muting, you're going to play the A and D string together. There's nothing going on there really, it's not supposed to be, it's more like a percussive effect. And then the harmonic you're aiming for is the G string there. It's not a natural place for harmonics, so they don't come too easily, but that's the idea. A string, D string, A string, G string. And off you go with On Fire. Going back to animal noises, I'm going to show you how to do the elephant. Most people seem to know how to do this by now, but I'm including it for completism. What you're doing is a natural harmonic on the G string, 5th fret, B string, 7th fret, then the high E, 12th fret. Do all of those with your volume down. Dip your bar down, raise your volume. One more time. Last animal noise, and this is the Dolphin. It's really simple to do. One hand over the whammy bar, and when you raise your volume, you're going to push your strings down towards your pickup so that it hits the edge of the pickups here. That kind of effect there, okay? It gets really exciting once you start to add reverb and delay. But the main thing here is that you can do it on different strings to get a different effect. High E, G string. And if you want to do what Eddie would do in live versions of Cathedral, for example, you'd push down with 2 strings at the same time. Sounds really cool. This technique I've heard called auto-flanging, and the idea is that you're doing hammer-ons and pull-off. And then just brushing your palm down the strings there, and what you're doing in turn is muting the strings around it and the one you're doing hammer-ons and pull-offs with, and it allows harmonics to ping out, which is really cool. It tends to work mainly for the wound strings. You don't really get much after the G string, to be honest. And what's really cool about this is that loads of people have taken this idea and run with it. My personal favorite application is someone like Zakk Wylde. If you take an effect like this, that's G string there, 4th fret, pull off to 2nd fret, then same on the D string. Now what you're going to do with your index finger is you're going to hover it over the 9th fret there. How cool is that? And then you're going to move it down to the 7th fret. That was used in the song Center of Eternity, if you want to find the original source of that. This is the last of the Zakk Wylde tricks, and it's really basic. In Suicide Solution, or the intro to it anyway, he'll do a harmonic on the D and G strings, 5th fret, and then push the G string behind the nut, and you get this really cool swooping overtone. Really cool. I love that so much. And the main thing here is to do it on a guitar that's got your basic nut here. And you can do it with a guitar with a recessed bridge, but the swoop isn't quite the same, you know, it's a little bit odd, but it's still achievable sort of the other way. If you're enjoying this tutorial, do me a huge favor, please hit the like, subscribe button, you'd be helping me out an awful lot. Thank you very much. Here's a trick from really early Zakk Wylde, and it liberates people who don't have whammy bars. Let me demonstrate it for you. I pinched that lick from Mr. Tinkertrain. He's used it all over the place, but that's where I first heard it. And what you're doing is G and B string, 7th fret, bend it up like you would a whole step. You're not aiming to be in tune here as such. That kind of idea. As long as you're bending them together, you get that effect. Then what you're going to do with your middle finger is you're going to go to the 21st fret on your guitar, hammer on to that G string there and hold on to the note. Bend it towards you. While you're doing that, this hand is going to come off and it's going to move magically to the 2nd fret on the G string here, where it's going to hold on to the note. And you let that note down. You've got to make sure that you've let this go and then you're holding on to the 2nd fret there on the G string. You let the bend down. So you've got... then a harmonic on the end to finish. This is a really popular one called the Dirt Bike, and loads of you know what this was popularized by. Kickstart My Heart by Motley Crue. Mick Mars on the guitar, of course. But I believe the earliest origins of it are Montrose with Sammy Hagar initially. And what you've got to do is, with your fretting hand, you are basically pulling off an open string, but while the whammy bar is at its lowest point. So raise it up. And repeat the process for the A and low E string. Really cool. Back to Van Halen, we're doing harmonics this time, and the idea here is you are bending up the G string a whole step and letting it down while tapping 2 different harmonics together. That's on the 7th fret there of the G string, you bend it up a whole step. You're going to tap the 12th fret here over the fret wire, and all you're doing, you're playing the fretboard is lava. You're literally tapping the note and then letting it go again, and you should get the harmonic there. Let it down right to the bottom there so it's not bent at all, and then you're going to tap the 14th fret, tap the 12 again and then bend up, tap the 14th and let it down. Now, in doing that, you're now back to the 12th fret and it's now not bent at all, so you keep going until then you tap what is essentially 12 frets above, the 19th fret there to finish, where it's the octave. Really cool little trick to do. It works best on the G string, I find. This next one's really fun. You need to take the bar off your guitar, and I've heard people call this alien Morse code. I've heard people call it tweeting birds, probably being the most descriptive name for it, or if you're British, clangers. And the idea here is you create a conversation by sliding your bar across the strings there over the pickup. That kind of idea. It's really fun to do. You can even wolf whistle with it. There you go. This one's called the Klink. It's really basic to do. I used this to create a jump scare in the previous video, and the idea here is you simply pluck the strings past the nut. Beautiful. This is a trick inspired by Buckethead, and I ended up learning this from one of my students. If you're watching, you know exactly who you are. This trick is meant to emulate, I don't really know. It's not the most musical thing in the world, but it kind of sounds like a computer blowing up to me. And the idea here is you're tapping the 19th fret and then pulling off to 12 on the high E. Then you're hammering on to 18, pulling off to 11. Then 17, pulling off to 10. Then repeat that process for the strings going down. Add the speed. Really odd, and Buckethead gets even cleverer with it by adding more fingers, but I'm not that good. Just before I wrap up this video, I'm going to share with you what my gear is. I'm using an EVH 5150 standard in stealth black. I'm also using the Van Halen Tonex patches, which I recently did a video on. For this video, I'm using a patch called Into Flames. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you've liked what you've seen. Please make sure you like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you again in the next video. Bye bye.